Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your boy James from What's Your Forte, and today we're going to be reviewing the Sony A6000. And we're going to be seeing if it's any good in 2020. Should you still be looking at this camera for photography needs? I say yes, if you have the right lens. Let's get into it. Alright, so the Sony A6000. So this is exactly what it looks like right there. Pretty small camera. You kind of compare it to like my iPhone here. My iPhone is actually, as you can see there, a little bit bigger than the camera. So very, very small camera, but sometimes good things come in small packages. So let's go down to specs real quick. So the Sony A6000, it has a 24.3 megapixel APS-C sensor. So that APS-C sensor and the Sony is going to be compared to a full frame, a 1.5 crop. Usually in the Canon crop sensors is 1.6, but in Sony it's 1.5. So what that means is if you have a 30mm lens hooked onto this bad boy, it's going to be equivalent to like 45mm. So you kind of have to take whatever that focal range of the lens is and multiply it by 1.5 to get a full frame equivalent. And we'll go over more of that details with the lenses that I use with this camera a little later. It also has the Bionz, I may be saying that wrong, Bionz X image processor. It also uses a hybrid autofocus system with 25 contrast detect and 179 phase detect points for the autofocus system. I will say, using this thing, it does focus pretty fast. I know a lot of people say Sony's system is right there with Canon, or something it's better than the Canon dual pixel. You know, we might have to put that to the test here soon, so we can really test that out, and let you guys be the judge on that. It does have a built-in flash, although I don't use it. I don't like built-in flashes. I'd rather carry auxiliary light with me, so using built-in flashes. But it does have it for those that do like to use it. It does have 11 frames per second continuous shooting with subject tracking. So you can sit here, hold the shutter down, bang off some shots, and you'll be able to track them as well. Now the tracking on this, because this is an older model, it is a little bit slower than some of the newer Sonys that are out there, but you still can do it. You still can do it with this camera. So that's pretty impressive for the age of this camera and the price, which we'll get into soon. It does have a 3-inch tilt screen, as you can kind of see right here. You can tilt it down, you can kind of flap it out here, so you can kind of hold the camera down real low and still be able to see the screen there. I will say the screen isn't incredibly bright compared to like my Panasonic G85. That screen's a lot brighter than this. When you're in direct sunlight, sometimes the view angles, it can be a little hard to see the screen, but it can get the job done in most situations. It does have an OLED electronic viewfinder with 1.44 million dots, and you also get like a little detachable eyepiece, which you can kind of see right there. You do get this detachable eyepiece here, which is cool. So if you're holding it up and your nose is maybe touching the screen or anything like that, you can put this eyepiece on like that, and then boom, you got your eyepiece on, and then you can use that to kind of hold it up to your eye and take pictures from it, so you can get a little cushion, a little separation, so your eye doesn't have to be right up against the viewfinder. The Sony A6000 also records full HD video, 1080p out of this camera right here, up to 60p, and you can also get 24p. It does have a clean HDMI out as well. Now the HDMI mount on this is a micro HDMI, so I know a lot of people do not like the micro HDMI slot that is going to be in this camera. Some people like it, some people don't, but you know, at least you have it there, you know, in case you want to use it. It does have Wi-Fi and NFC capability, so you can send photos you take from this straight to your phone and post them straight to social media. If you like the way that this processes JPEGs, which we'll get into later, you'll definitely be able to take the photos right instantly and be able to shoot them right to your phone, post them up, do a little bit of editing in Lightroom Mobile or Snapseed if you use that, and then post it straight to your Instagram or Facebook or wherever you want to post your pictures. So it does have that capability as well. So this A6000 came with a kit lens. This kit lens is a 16 to 50 millimeter, 3.5 to 5.6 lens. It does have what they call a power zoom technology, so it'll zoom in and out for you, where you actually see the actual lens zoom in and out. And it does have optical steady shot, which is Sony's stabilization system. Now the A6000 does not have stabilization. I will show you what the handheld videos look like on this in a little bit later, so you can kind of see kind of get an idea on how this camera is handheld without any gimbals or anything like that. So you can get some pretty decent shots with the kit lens. The kit lens really it's serviceable, but we'll get into a little bit later the lenses that I've used and lenses that I currently use on this as a photography camera. Alright, so let's talk about the lens on this A6000 a little bit more in detail. So I did say it was a 16 to 50 millimeter, but you can think about this is a crop sensor camera. So you apply that 1.5 crop to this, and you got a 24 to 75 millimeter equivalent, which is a pretty good focal range for a kit lens. Now, the real kind of downside to this kit lens is it doesn't have a wide aperture. The aperture is only going to be, right now it says on the camera, it's a 3.5 to 5.6. But the aperture really in full frame equivalence is going to be like a 5.25 to an 8.4. So that's not the brightest, and it's not that good in low light conditions because it doesn't open up very wide. So if you plan on doing any low light shooting with this thing, it's probably not going to be, this is not going to be the lens that you want to use. So that's a good segue into my next section of this review, where I'm going to talk about the lenses that I currently use with this A6000. So Sony, using the E-mount on their crop sensor cameras, you can attach the full frame lenses to this body. There is some downsides to that. Some of the full frame lenses are pretty large and pretty hefty for this small body, and have that big lens on the front. It does make it a little, you know, front heavy there. But Sigma has some great crop sensor lenses for the Sony E-mount. So we're gonna go about the two lenses that I currently use with this camera. One of them will be the Sigma 30mm f1.4, and then we also have the Sigma 56mm f1.4. So this 30mm f1.4 is going to give you an equivalent focal range in full frame terms of 45mm. And since this is a f1.4, times that by 1.5, and you get an f2.1 maximum aperture. So this lens is very sharp and very good. So like I said, when we go over the photo section of this video, which is gonna be right after my talking points, I'll show you the pictures you can get with this bad boy. But just to show you the size of it, I hold it up next to my iPhone XS Max, so you can kind of see a size comparison there. It does have a little bit of a good amount of weight on it. I would say it's heavier than the whole camera. So this is a lot of glass, very sharp lens, and you can kind of see there the lens, kind of what it looks like there. Very sharp lens. And like I said, when we get into the picture section, I'll be able to show you exactly what kind of pictures are capable with this bad boy. Then we have the Sigma 56mm f1.4. So this is a very sharp lens as well. Almost, I would say, just as sharp, or not sharper than a 30mm. And that 30mm got high scores. So this 56mm f1.4 full frame equivalent is going to be an 84mm f2.1. So you can so this is a great telephoto, middle range telephoto lens, great for portrait photography, which I'll show you some portraits that I took with this as well. And this thing is a beast, man. I mean, the compression and then the sharpness you get from this is pretty good, man. And this is a nice lens. Taking the lens hood off there, you can kind of look at it right there. I mean, if you put it up to a 30, let's put it up to the 30. So this is the 30 and this is the 56. As you can see, the 30mm is bigger than the 56 and heavy, but the 56 is a little bit heavier, but the 30mm is a little bit longer. So and then kind of looking at the glass there, as you can kind of see right there, the glass opening is a little bit larger on this as well. And this, you can kind of see right there, this lens is, there's a lot of glass in here, and it is very sharp. And I'll show you some, like I said, when we get to the picture section, I'll definitely show you some pictures on what's capable with this bad boy. So yeah, man, so those are the lenses that I use with it. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I would suggest anyone that's going to pick up any of the Sony crop sensor cameras definitely got to try out one of these Sigma lenses. Sigma offers a 16 millimeter, which is equivalent to a 24. They offer the 30, which is almost like their nifty 50 for the crop sensors, so to speak, because it gives you a 50 millimeter, almost 50 millimeter equivalent with a very low aperture. And then they have this 56 millimeter, which is almost equivalent to your 85. So you have your 24, your 50, and your 85 millimeters pretty much covered with the full Sigma kit. And I think Sigma sells a whole kit for around $1,000. You may be able to pick it up a lot cheaper used. So what I'm gonna do right now is go over the pricing of all three of these items. You can pick up the A6000 used. I've seen it as low as $250. I got mine used for around about $350 on eBay. And then you can pick these lenses up used. I found them used on eBay pretty cheap. These are the prices for the A6. This is the price for the A6000. This is the price for the Sigma 30 millimeter, and this is the price for the Sigma 56 millimeter. These are all prices that you can find on Amazon. And then if you want something a little cheaper, you always go to used market and find it cheaper by bidding, or if you want to do eBay and do it to buy it now, you can definitely do it on that as well. So I would definitely recommend picking up any of these lenses. And also I'll recommend this camera for photography. If you just want to do photography and video's not really, you're not really big on video, you just want to do photography, beginning photographer, this is an excellent camera. 24 megapixels is enough, especially if all you're doing is posting to social media. So what we're gonna do right now is get into the photo review section. So I'm gonna go on my computer, go over some photos with you that I have taken with this camera and these lenses, and then just show you a couple photos and show you exactly what this camera is capable of. So let's get to it. All right, everyone, so as you see on my screen here, I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of different photos that I was able to take with the Sony A6000. All these were either using the Sigma 30 millimeter or the Sigma 56 millimeter. And I'll tell you which lens was used for which picture. So on this picture here, this is a JPEG straight out of the camera. As you see, this nice M3 right here. And I just want to kind of show you on this picture here, just the bright colors you're able to get. The processor in the camera is able to pick up a lot of, just produce great colors, and a great dynamic range, and a lot of different contrast. You're able to really push these images a lot in post, which you'll be able to see on some of the other photos here. So we're going to the next photo here. This is an interior shot of a Bentley that I took at one of the local car shows here. I believe this was Caffeine and Horsepower car show. As you can see, the great detail right here in the steering wheel, it was able to pick up. This was shot on a cloudy day, so I was able to really blow this out, shoot at f1.4 on a 30 millimeter lens, and get some foreground blur here. And this is a really crisp shot. Really did like this shot, and it just turned out very well, you know. Going on to the next shot here, we have, this is a frontal shot of Euro Empire's M4. Shout out to Euro Empire. Just kind of their front end shot, and then you got the mural in Charlotte of Luke Kuechly and the Carolina Panther there. So you got these two eyes looking in the eyes of the vehicle also. So I thought this was a pretty dope shot. I got a lot of likes on my Instagram when I posted this, and a lot of people ended up really liking this shot. And you can just see the detail that the Sony A6000 was able to pull using that Sigma lens. And like I stated before, man, as long as you have the right lenses, the kit lens is okay. It can get you by for most part, but if you want to get into full detailed shots, you really need to try. The Sigma lenses are great for the Sony E-mount system. And this picture right here just shows you what the 30 millimeter is capable of. And this was in the early stages of me really doing photography. So I look at it now and I see a lot of the things I could have edited and a lot of things I could have done better. But I'm just in the early stages for me shooting this and doing a little bit of editing. I think it turned out very well. Going on to the next photo here, this is a photo of my buddy's Anthony's Subaru Forester. You can kind of see here, I got some foreground blur. It kind of looks like the Forester just popping out from behind this little pillar here. And it's in the Forester's natural habitat, off-road, got some bricks, got some rocks here, trees underneath a bridge, you know, just kind of off-roading in the all-wheel drive Subaru Forester there. So you can see the deep colors that it was able to bring out in the Forester. It was able to bring a lot of this out in post as well, make it look a little better. But I mean, you're able to, I will say one thing about the Sony file, especially dealing with cameras that I've worked with before, like the Panasonic and even Canons. Sony seems like you're able to push their files a little bit more. And I don't know if that's just something in their processing or something in the Kodak or whatever they're using. But man, I mean, you can really get a lot from their photos, especially in post when you're shooting raw. So If you want your photos to look the best, I would recommend shooting in RAW. Just like Jared Poland, for any of y'all knows him, knows photo. Him and his shoot RAW t-shirts. On to the next shot here. This one was shot with the Sigma 56mm f1.4. It was shot at f1.4 of my buddy Dallas's f30 here, and you can kind of see the detail here. A lot of people really like this photo as well. I was able to pull out a lot of detail. Again, the Sony files you're able to do a whole lot with in post. I was able to pull out the body lines, able to throw some contrast and some drama in the picture here a little bit in the background, and picture looks good. I think it looks good, it looks sharp, and I didn't have any issues. And Dallas really loved it too. So, really think capable photography camera. Just going on to the next picture here. This is a picture here. I think it's up to 1,000 likes on Instagram right now from my buddy Eric's Grand Tours page. A lot of people love this shot too. I loved it too. I thought it was one of my best ones. Really like the background blur I was able to get here. Able to blow out the background a little bit at f1.4. And again, like I said, I was able to pull out a lot of detail, able to highlight a lot of the key parts of the car in post, and was really able to make this photo just really make this car stick out and make everything just kind of pop in this photo. Just kind of want to go to some portrait photography that I was able to do with the lens as well. So this is my female barber, Honey Clippers. So I did some photos for her. This is one photo I was able to do a portrait of her, holding the clippers here, or her doing some modeling shots here, and everything here looks really, really sharp. She really liked this photo, posted it herself on her Instagram, and everything turned out pretty good there. Here's another photo of her and one of her clients here, just kind of doing a different type of shoot that she wanted to do. The blacks really pop. You can kind of even see like the Alcantara fur that on the jacket she was wearing. The detail I was able to get, shooting this, in a pretty dark studio. Pretty much we shot it in the barbershop, and we just put like a black backdrop behind them. But it was the detail I was able to get with just two, ring lights in a very dark room was pretty great, with this camera. And this was shot with a 30mm lens as well. Just another shot I was able to get with a 30mm lens. I was able to really get in close, pull some detailed shots of her just aging up his beard here. And you can see, look at all the fibers in his beard here that you're able to just see the details able to pick up here was just very, very well. And then you can see the background being blown out here in the background. I thought this was a very good shot. I was proud of myself actually picking this shot up, and really, really nice, clean shot. Just kind of want to show you another photo here. This will be one of the last photos I show you. As you can see now, this camera is very, very capable of being a great photography camera. This is an interior shot of a classic. I'm not sure exactly what car. I'm thinking it was a Bel Air. I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure y'all can correct me down in the comments if you do know. But you can kind of see the foreground here is out of focus. The focus was on the steering wheel, which you can see is pretty tacked, pretty sharp. Even over here is a little out of focus. Focus was the steering wheel and the dash here. You can see the colors I was able to grasp. You can kind of see the white interior here. Everything just looks really, really sharp. This is actually one of the photos that I posted on my website. Also, because I really, really enjoyed and really liked this photo that I was able to grab. So to kind of show you some of the video capabilities. Now, this camera really isn't known for its video capabilities. It does shoot 1080p video, MP4, H.264 format. But I just want to show you the video capabilities with it. So I was using the Sigma 30mm lens, which does not have any stabilization, and the camera also doesn't have any built-in stabilization. So you're going to see some shake, you're going to see some wobble in these videos. So if you're going to use this for video, just for home videos, it'll be fine. If you want to use it for any type of real work, I will recommend getting a stabilizer, some type of gimbal, and you can stabilize it in post, but it's some of it's so shaky, and I'll just show you here. Some of it's so shaky that stabilizing in post is still gonna be pretty tough. So this is one shot that I had from that I actually used in my tunnel vision video. You can kind of see it shaking a lot there. The actual video is crisp, super crispy, but you can see the footage is real shaky there. And I'm just kind of walking around with it. You can kind of see it's just shaking all over the place. With no stabilization in the lens and no stabilization in the camera, it's kind of what you get. that little pan there wasn't too bad, but yeah, you can kind of see it's just shaking and shaking and shaking there. So, and this was a talking head video that I did for a video that I did a while back, and this is the camera kind of, well, that's shaking, but this is the camera on a tripod. So you can kind of see, you put it on a tripod here, very stable, of course, because it's on a tripod, and you can kind of see this was shot at f1.4 with a 30mm Sigma, and the background's blurred out here, very crisp on my face. The video quality isn't bad, you know, it doesn't look that bad at all. It's just that I needed a haircut this day, but video quality doesn't look that bad, man. I mean, it looks pretty good, you know, especially with that Sigma lens, but you know, it's from when you start moving with it and try to hand hold it, that's when you're really gonna get a lot of issues with this lens. But just straight out the camera, straight out the, you know, this is unedited footage, straight out the camera, I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. You can see a lot of the detail on my face and my beard, you know, my hair and all that. So it's not bad at all. So it can do video. It's just not the greatest video camera, because you're gonna need, you know, I would recommend getting a gimbal if you're gonna use it for video. So yeah, man. So camera's pretty sharp. Take sharp photos. It's decent in video. Your iPhone or Galaxy Note or whatever probably can do just as good on video. So I probably would just stick to that, because a lot of the phones now, the lenses have stabilization in it. You can probably get similar shots. You know, one pro of the Sony A6000 is the fact that you can throw, you know, a fast prime lens like the Sigma lenses on it and get some pretty good shots in the dark, where you can't really do that with your phone. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on the photo and video capabilities of the A6000. All right, everyone. So as you saw from the pictures, this camera is very, very capable. I would say for anyone that's starting out in photography, if you're a beginner, you just want to look to get into it, this is an excellent camera to pick up. As you can see, with the right lenses, you can get some really, really sharp pictures. Sharp is, you know, anything else that you can get with any other camera out there. So crop sensors, you can still get great photos. I don't want you to think that you have to get full frame in order to get great photos. You don't. You just have to have the right lens. The lens, what I've seen so far in my experience of dealing with some Canon, some Panasonic, and then also with the Sony, is the lenses make the biggest difference. Most of the cameras and the processing, a lot of these cameras can do well processing the image, but your lens makes the biggest difference. And I would say if you get any camera like that on a budget, and use the budget to get whatever camera you can afford, and then put your real money into the lenses, and you'll be very happy and get some great results. So that's my 2 cents on that subject. And do I recommend the Sony A6000 in 2020? I do. If you're a beginning photographer, you just want to be able to up your game, and you want to up your game from taking iPhone or Android photos, definitely this right here is going to do it for you. So that's my review on the A6000. I do recommend it for beginner photographers, and if you do want to try something a little different today. So if y'all like this video, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're considering the A6000, let me know in the comments below, on, you know, and then I can help you out if you have any questions. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button twice. So that's all I have for y'all today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.